Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. I hope everyone's doing well, and welcome to the very first episode of Tea, Scones VO. Today I am joined by the lovely, the very, very talented, and my friend, Jackie Ozorio. Hi, Jackie.
Hello. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? All right. How are you doing? How are you surviving COVID?
I finally finished building my home studio. I've been putting it off for a very long time. So in a way, COVID has helped me really focus in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also very lucky. I do have a 9 to 5 actually that I can retreat to, and that's still kind of ticking over. So
Yes.
I cannot complain.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no one would listen if you did. I remember when...
Totally true.
When lockdown first happened, you used to put up some stuff on Instagram, like coming out of a tube station, and literally nothing was there. It looked like the opening scene out of 28 Days Later. For London, that's incredible. I've never seen London like that.
I've never seen anything like it. It's been very eerie. Things are getting back to normal. I am going back into work and taking the train if I have to. Otherwise, I cycle. And there are still very few people around. And the people who are around are all now wearing masks. And so it feels kind of, post-apocalyptic for sure.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. Like, even just on the drive to work, normally it would take me about half an hour pre-COVID time. Post-COVID, it now takes me about 8 minutes to get to work. It's crazy.
Swings and roundabouts.
Well, yeah. Okay. And on with the show. So the first question that I'm going to ask you, it's probably the most important question I'm going to ask you all day. How do you take your tea?
Oh, gosh. Okay. I like it with oat milk. Oatly Barista. It's the grey carton. The best carton. No sugar. And I only leave the tea bag in for about 30 seconds.
That's all right. Everyone's different.
Is that okay? Thank God.
A good British cup of tea. But are you talking English breakfast? Are you going for the Earl
I
Grey? Are you
I like my Yorkshire tea. My Yorkshire,
your Yorkshire tea.
English
your
breakfast styles. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not partial to a bit of oolong, bit of Darjeeling?
Look, I won't say no, but if I open the cupboard and I have my choice, I will go for the English breakfast, I think.
Good choice. Good
for
choice.
Sure.
Which also another very British question, which in some areas of the country may get you lynched. How would you build a scone? Jam first or cream?
Okay. How would I do this? Jam first, and then the cream on top.
I think that's the Lancashire method.
Is it? We'll go with that.
But yeah,
please don't
apparently
lynch me.
I have no opinion.
Unless I can have the scone first.
Wait,
is it scone or scone?
That depends on where you're from.
I
So my parents met in Halifax, but they lived in Dorset, where I am now. So they say it both ways because my grandparents are from Dorset. So they say either, how do they say it? Scone? Scone? Yep. It just depends on your diction, I think.
Depends on your mood as well, I think.
Well, yeah. I'm having a scone.
Scone.
Yes, me too. So now we've got both those very important and very British questions out the way. Tell me how you first got started in VO. What's your origin story, as it were?
Wow. I moved to London in 2011. I was following my then partner who went to Mount View and did an MA in music theatre. And while he was off gallivanting around doing that, I was looking at ways to try different things. And I think I took a couple of classes through the Actors Centre that were sort of introductory classes, and I sort of got a little bit of a intro to that. I did a very indie horror game as one of my first jobs, and it was, I mean, they tell you nowadays, if they want an American, they'll cast an American. If they want a 50-year-old woman, they'll cast a 50-year-old woman. If they want a specific accent, they'll find that. But not for this game. I played an elderly Southern American matron in this game, which was the weirdest thing that I've ever done. And I did it on like I don't know if it was my phone or like a very basic microphone back then. So I had no idea what I was doing. But that got me sort of thinking about it. And then I went and did an MA at Central, and that was in music theatre. And when I left Central, I did no music theatre at all. I just kind of drifted back towards voiceover, but more commercial voiceover, because I think that's sort of where the work started to come in a bit more for me.
Yeah.
But obviously, my passion, my goals would be definitely towards the more creative stuff, video games and animation, that sort of thing. Although I still love the commercial work.
Yeah.
So
it's all got.
That's kind of how it started.
Yeah. That's starting off with training. Obviously, is probably the most important thing you could do. But as you're going into musical theatre and then having that almost extra step of going, okay, I'm going to take myself off a stage and put myself behind a mic and then carry on acting. It's like people's avenues on how they actually get into VO in the first place can be incredibly interesting. There are, so actually, now that you mentioned musical theatre, that leads me on to my next question, because I wrote other things. So obviously you do your musical theatre. I'm very, very gutted that I couldn't go and see your show the last time I was in London. The last time we went to the convention. But you also do stand-up.
Oh my goodness. Well, I did stand up before lockdown.
Lockdown.
I started it. Yeah, I started doing some stand up last year, and gosh, I haven't done it. Well, I was back in Australia over the summer, their summer, and managed to do one gig there, and that was in January, and I haven't done anything since. I'm meant to have a 10-minute spot in a show in October, but who knows what's going to happen?
Well, exactly.
Not me, I don't know. But yeah, no, I did. And it's such a different thing, but it's also, it's its own beast, and it's a very fun but very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like, theatre in itself is kind of nerve-wracking, but you can kind of disappear into a character, and that kind of shields you from the wrath of the crowd. Going up in front of people when you're yourself and going, I'm going to tell some jokes. If you don't laugh, I'm right here. That's got to be like probably one of the most stressful, like, pant-wetting things you could possibly ever do. But
and
I'm
that's
sure...
why I decided to do it.
Well,
because it was one of those things where I was like, I would like to tackle things I am scared of this year. And at the top of my list was stand-up comedy. I could not understand how anybody could, exactly what you said, put themselves in that position. But after a little while, after doing it a handful of times, you start to like relax into the fact that it is a performance and it is a script. And yes, it's your humor and your words and it's you, but after a while it becomes not you anymore, if that makes sense.
It
at least for me, that's what I found. And I was able to just treat it like going on stage and doing any old. And if people didn't like it, they didn't like it. And if they did, great.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So for everyone currently listening, we do have a very small snippet of Jackie's set. It's like the opening joke, but it is hilarious.
Oh, thanks everybody. Oh, it's so nice to be in a small dark room under a bridge of my own free will for a change.
It's like I remember you posted it when you first did it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be brilliant. Can I see more, please?
It was a weird one because I did a course. I actually went and did a comedy writing course to be able to do this. And one of the things that we picked up and were taught was, at the top of your set, when you're in a new venue, try and say something about the room, try and say something about something that's just happened. It makes everything you do a little bit more present, and a bit more real. And if you can get even the smallest like little chuckle at the top, you're in a good position. And so, of course, that was probably the funniest thing I've ever done. And it was one of those, quick, make it, what am I going to say? I've got 3 minutes before I'm up, make something up quick. And so, it's not something I can keep using. It was very, very location specific. But yeah.
Incredibly niche. So is there a specific process you go through when you're trying to write jokes, or is it more, well, this is the news, everything's fact, but it's quite funny?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of people who will do topical humor, and I'm not very good at that. I think my strengths are probably in more narrative comedy, where I just retell stories that have happened to me.
Yeah.
Pick little moments like that and sort of tangent off that. I mean, I'm not very experienced at it. I'm still learning a lot, and maybe this will all change. But I've always found anecdotal comedy and stories to be more fun for me to watch. So that's kind of what I'm leaning into myself when I write.
Yeah. Well, it makes perfect sense. Why would you write about stuff that you have no clue about?
Also, it's really depressing when you have to sit down and read the news and write jokes about it, and you just want to jump out a window. So I try not to do that too much.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can only really jump out a window once. Depends how high it is, I guess. But I mean, gravity's going to let you know pretty quickly if it's a repeat thing. But
yeah, that's true.
So obviously being in the industry since 2011, you've probably seen it's coming up 9 years, if not longer. What kind of pitfalls, or now that I put it in perspective, you kind of oh my god,
I'm gonna have a panic attack. Thanks.
What kind of pitfalls or difficulties have you kind of encountered, and how have you then overcome them?
My God, that's a really good question. There was a long stretch of time when I was convinced that you needed an agent to be able to get work. And I think that a lot of people fall into that box. It makes it a lot easier for sure, but it was also a crutch for me. If I didn't have the agent, then that was the thing I was focusing on rather than training, rather than getting my own work. I was using that as when I get an agent, that's when I'll start actually doing the work. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the biggest mental obstacle I've had to overcome. I do have an agent, and I got that agent after I left drama school. Mm-hmm. But it's not, it really was that situation where I was putting off self-motivating. Yeah. And then after having the agent for a little while, I kind of realized, this works. This works for certain things. It doesn't work for everything. And I still need to be self-reliant. So that was, I think, the biggest hurdle that I came into. Obviously, during the lockdown and this whole new life we're living, being able to record at home was a big step, because I hadn't really done that previously. My housemate, he is a voice artist as well. He has a booth that can be put up and put down. It's all his equipment. So if I asked for it and if I needed it, I could absolutely get his help, and he would set it up for me, and we'd go to town. But then I was using that as a crutch as well, of not making myself self-reliant. So hey, it sounds to me like my problems are motivation. Listening to myself now, that's where my problems lie. Obviously, equipment is not cheap. If you want to build your own booth, you need space, you need time, you need a bit of money. All those kinds of standard pitfalls, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously you've got your own booth now, which is going to definitely serve a purpose, and especially as we're moving more into remote-based work and getting out of the in-city or in-town studios. Having a booth it's kind of important.
Yeah, and kind of fun.
Absolutely.
It's like a little Narnia. And you can come in and you can be all kinds of characters, and it's just great. Yes. So hopefully I get a lot of use out of it.
Well, yes. They do get incredibly warm, so I recommend investing in a fan.
That's good advice. Very good advice. Or no clothes. Which one will it be? Maybe both. Why not both?
get the heat to dissipate. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
I built my own. Beforehand, I had a PVC booth that had, the moving blankets and everything kind of draped on top of it. But it
Yes.
was so ramshackle and so very much DIY that it would tip. So
It fell on you.
it didn't quite fall on me, but I was recording something and it fell that way, and I was like,
Oh. It's funny you say that. Mine is currently PVC with a bunch of duvets and foam. So it's only a matter of time before my booth goes the
Eventually.
way of yours.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
it gives every job I do a sense of urgency, which I think is
Can I get this done before it
Gotta
falls
help.
over? Can I get it done?
exactly. She has a real energy to her voice. Why is that?
It's almost a
She's
nervous-
terrified
almost-
of death.
It's almost frantic, almost like she's trying to get
Yeah,
it done so
wow.
quickly. Wow.
How does she do it?
Well, having the impending
Exactly.
doom of something falling on you will
Yeah.
do that. So as we have alluded to, you've been in the industry since 2009. What's the most exciting or the best thing that you've done in your career so far?
Oh my God. Do you know what? I was very slow to start because, as I said before, I have a 9 to 5 as well. So this is not what I've been doing full time. I would love for it to be. But since it's not really my primary thing, it's been very slow to get off the ground. The most exciting thing I have done has actually been training, and it was training in the mocap course that was offered by the Voice Over Network, and it was so exciting because it just opened up my eyes to the possibilities of where voice work could take you. And yeah, it just kind of, I had no idea that stuff was possible, and I had no idea how excited I would get about it. Plus, the networking part, making friends, meeting new people, all of that was just so full of life and full of energy. Voice over, in my experience, has been fairly lonely. You turn up to a studio, maybe you meet 1-2 people. I think the most people I met in one sitting was the engineer and like four people from the client had come. And you sit in a little box and you might have a window and you might be able to see them and you can sort of hear them, but they'll mute you if they have to. So it kind of feels a bit lonely sometimes. And of course, here I am sitting in my little booth, and hopefully we'll be doing some work in here. Again, it's a lonely place. So doing the mocap training and getting to meet other voice actors and seeing who was out there doing what, that was so exciting, and I can't wait to do more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I think that particular class was put on by Jessica Jeffries.
That's
who's,
right.
like her talk at because this is where we
Get Your
met.
Game
We
On.
met
Yeah.
at your Get Your Game On 2019.
Her talk was outstanding.
Absolutely. And very much inspiring in terms of, wow, I knew mocap existed. I knew mocap was definitely a thing, and I knew that people built their careers around being mocap actors, but I had no idea it was this extensive.
I did not know. It was wonderful. I highly recommend trying it out if you can.
It's on my list of things to do at some point, either this year or next year. But I wanna
You
get
put on the
into
lycra and
mocap.
you feel like a total idiot, but then it all goes away, and you live in your imagination.
I live in my imagination anyway.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, training obviously is the most important part of what we do, because anyone can stand in front of a mic and read a script, but whether or not you are equipped with the acting chops, because it's acting to a point and then it's technique for the rest of the way.
Sure.
So whether or not you have the acting chops to begin with to turn a script from words on a page to this is a person sitting in front of me having a conversation about Geico.
Yep.
It's a skill that can definitely be taught, and it can be learned, but you need to have some kind of talent to be able to pick it up quickly.
Yeah, I think, and that's why one of the the best things about my time at Central, even though I didn't actually go into music theatre. It did give me, a lot of tools to use, which do come through in a lot of even commercial jobs. You still need to sell that product, and you still need to be convincing, and that's all part of it. So,
well, even with commercials, even with like the most boring e-learning scripts, there is always a story that needs to be told. So as an actor, even though you're reading incredibly boring things about intranets and the company picnic, you need to be able to you've got to be able to sell it.
Oh my gosh, I did a job. It was for an app that was for new drivers, delivery drivers, and it was things like, remember to turn off the car when you park it. Remember to always wear your seatbelt. Things like that. And it still needed to be done in a certain way.
Absolutely.
So,
like some of the auditions I've had for e-learning, they've been like, and welcome to this company. Today we will be learning about X. When learning about X, it's important to know. Like, oh, God.
I love it. I think it's great.
Well, e-learning's another thing that I want to branch into, but it's not about me. It's about you.
Can we focus, please?
Focus, please. Are you ready for your close-up? Oh, my God.
Excuse me, please. Eyes on me, please.
So that was training, obviously dramatically important, and the best or most exciting part of your career. If you could give your younger self 3 bits of career advice, what would they be?
Oh my God. I saw a tweet or something asking this, what would you tell your younger self? And maybe this is indicative of something deep in my psyche, but mine was like, get a grip. I would go back and say, get a grip. Like, there's so much out there. Stop looking, stop seeing, just, a foot in front of you, and start seeing the opportunities that are out there, and pay attention to what you love and enjoy. And don't wait for someone else to do it for you. I think I wish I could have beaten that into my younger self. Just be like, just do it. Just go and do it. Be self-sufficient, be self-reliant. And believe that what you love has a place somewhere, and you can find it. And there are other people who are going to support you through that. But you can't just kind of stand there scratching your head like I was, going, something will happen eventually. I think I probably would have been like, listen, mocap is a thing, because it is the best. It's the most fun I've ever had in Lycra. And it's just, if I could have my time again, I would have gotten into that well sooner.
Yeah. Straight out of musical theatre, straight into Lycra. Well, I guess you wouldn't have left for Lycra.
No, never. Sleep in it.
Yeah, eat, sleep, shower in the Lycra.
Shower in it.
Yeah. So obviously, being a self-starter is incredibly important. Everything that we are talking about is incredibly important.
Oh, so important
in this industry, because I think my coach Terry Daniels says it best. There's like, you can put your voice out there, you can have your website, you can have everything set up and everything, you can have the best voice in the world, but no one is going to barge into your living room with a bag full of money and go, I would like you to do voiceovers for this much for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work like that.
Took me a long time to realize that.
Yeah.
I still am kind of like waiting.
It's like, maybe today.
I'm still like looking at that telephone like, maybe today's the day.
Come on, Gmail, give me some good news.
Good.
Yeah. What was the so obviously you did right out of the gate, you did the indie horror game. What was your favorite project to work on?
Okay. Since that my whole it has to be the Penny Peepshow. The Penny Peepshow is a podcast that I've been a part of for 3 years now. It is a scripted comedy podcast. It's different stories, different series, and I've been a regular on every series. Sometimes I'm a lead, sometimes sometimes I'm supporting cast, character acting, that kind of stuff. Every single time I've had the most fun, like, because I get to do voices that I don't think any other job would be able to give me right now. Like, there's, the scope of different voices that I've managed to pull out for that podcast has just been so fun. I'd have to say, because it's given me the range of different things to try, that would have to be my absolute favorite project. It's still going as well, so still is my favorite project. That's a plug for the Penny Peepshow podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Given away everywhere. Finding podcasts are given away for free. Okay, so what tips do you have for people that are looking to get into VO?
Oh my goodness, what tips do I have?
Let's narrow that down. What one quintessential tip would you give to someone that's looking to get into VO? What is the singularly most important thing that you could think of?
Okay, I would say learn how to be better. And I don't mean you suck. I just mean what's going to happen is you're going to go into a booth, you're going to go to get a reel done, you're going to do a job, whatever it is, and you're going to get feedback. And the feedback is going to not always be positive. It's going to be, oh, but you need to do it this way. You need to do it a different way. For me, it's a lot of, you need to smile more. Oh, there's too much smile. Can it be more warm? Can it be more Australian? Can it be less Australian? There's a lot of criticism coming at you because what you are doing is you are using your voice as a product and you are putting it out there as a product. It's not a reflection on you as a person. It is a product that people need to fit their purpose. One of the best things that I learned from drama school was how to take criticism and not just have thick skin, because that is obviously part of it, but how to go, okay, well, what was that criticism? How is it useful to me? Is it useful to me? What can I do to implement some of the things that, have been useful in this criticism, and try and stay positive throughout the whole thing. Yeah. There have been a couple of early commercial jobs where I've had clients on the cans just talking back and forth about how I said like one particular word, and it was heartbreaking at the time. I was like, it's just how why? I just said one word. And this is also after you've said it so many times that you're starting to sweat. And so being able to see your voice and what you are doing as something that needs to be able to be flexible, I think is really important. Staying professional about it all and being able to be upbeat and positive and say, you know what, let's try it again. Yeah. And I can do this. Let me give it another shot. Like, I think that was, for me, that was the biggest lesson I learned in the early days. And now I'm like, yay, anything you want, we'll do it as many times as you want. No, it's great. It's all part of it. But I think that for me, that's the most important thing I've learned for sure. Yeah. Also having a good quality reel. Yeah. That would be my second most important thing, or maybe the first. It's just which comes first, because you need the reel to get the job, or do you get the? It's crazy, but if you have a good reel, and I just got some new stuff done, and I listened to my old reel, and I was so embarrassed. I was like,
I've been sending this to people.
What happened? Why? Who let this happen? And so I kind of feel like if you have a good engineer with you, someone who knows your voice well, who can hear where it fits in, and this is all commercial I'm talking about, if they can hear where it really fits and really help you pick the right scripts, and then of course the quality of the reel itself, I think you'll be in with a really good shot. Your reel is going to be your audition for a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say that too.
Yeah, in the digital world, a reel is effectively your first impression to a casting director. Yeah, and if it's terrible, you're going to get put on a list and you're going to get laughed at.
There's a laughing list. Hey, man, get a load of this idiot.
There are such lists. They're
Oh
like,
my God. Why
like,
did you tell me this? I'm going to be like up at night.
There are no such lists. The casting directors totally don't do that. You're fine.
Thank you.
Everything's
Thank
fine.
you.
Breathe.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, there are lists that like casting
And people
directors
don't always
will pass
listen
around.
past the first 30 seconds, do
No,
they?
A lot of them don't. They get 200-300 reels, and they've got to go right. I
Yeah.
need to cast this within 3 days. I don't have time to listen to all these. 30
Yeah.
seconds, 20 seconds. You need to make sure that first script, that first clip on your reel is your strongest, and like basically is a showcase of everything that you can do in that very, 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 very small window. You've only got one chance to make a good first impression. In the VO world, a first impression can last as long as they remember you.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a very good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, make sure you get your reels done, peeps, and make sure they're good. So obviously with the internet and digital age, and with Twitter and Facebook and Facebook and Instagram and now TikTok coming into it, people are being so much more accessible than they ever were before. So like you can tweet Will Smith if you want. He probably won't get back to you, but if he does, it'll make
keep
your
trying.
week.
He just doesn't reply.
Just doesn't take my calls anymore. So now that everyone is so much more accessible in their innermost thoughts, feelings, anything that they might be feeling while they're on a train, who's like, obviously people in our industry, they're very open. Who's the person or peoples, could be more than one, that have inspired you the most to pursue VO? Or...
Oh my gosh. Well, I play video games. It would have to be the characters in the video games that I've connected with over the past however many years. And I never put it together. Such an idiot. I've been doing the commercials, and then I'd be going home and playing video games. And at no point did I put 2 and 2 together and think, I like to do voices and I like to play video games. I wonder if there's a job in there for me. So I think it did take a little longer than it should have, but the characters in my favorite video games, I would have to say 100% have really inspired me to do better, to like, oh, you might hear some singing in the background there. They've really inspired me to just really find something special in what I do, and go for the things that I want to do instead of just the things that come my way.
Yeah.
I think that would have to be, that's my inspiration for sure. And they're awesome people as well. You can follow them. They're on social media. They're so cool. And like, the VO community is one of the friendliest communities, I think, out there. I'm not really part of any other community, so I wouldn't know. But they're so great, all of them, everybody. So
yeah, absolutely. Are there any specific actors of that have been in games that you've played, or?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, my 2 favorite games of all time are Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Red Dead Redemption 2. So that would be Doug Cockle and Roger Clark, 2 of my favorite boys in the game. Just think what they've done and what they've been able to achieve has been remarkable. When I'm playing a video game and I feel like I'm actually living an experience and going through a lifetime with these characters, and when I cry at the end because I feel a sense of loss and like I wish I could do it all again without remembering, that's so powerful.
Absolutely.
It's not even like, you can go and see a movie and that's great, but I've thrown hundreds of hours of my life into these games, so I'm spending so much time with these voices, with these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I find them incredibly inspiring.
So now that the world has slightly gone to shit, and jobs are, not going to say few and far between, because there are people that are doing amazingly well, and booking, consistently, and brilliant jobs. Are there any projects that you are currently working on that you're able to speak about? Obviously, I know with NDAs and all that kind of stuff, can be a little bit tricky.
No, I'm afraid not. I am putting out auditions like everybody else, and I'm still working on the Penny Peepshow. That's an ongoing project, but I mean, I wanted to get my booth sort of set up before I started putting myself out there for the kind of roles that I really, really want. My agent, I think they're starting to do studio recording again, so hopefully that means that that can kick off. But really, I've just been, just putting in applications, auditioning, just like everybody else. Also, just I guess trying to take stock and just get by, because I think actually this is quite a very difficult time mentally for a lot of people too. Where not every day is a successful job day.
So as we are coming to a close of this very first episode of Tea, Scones and VO, what is the best way to get hold of you?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I guess social media. I'm on Twitter. It's at JD Ozorio. I'm on Instagram. I believe that is Jacqueline_Ozorio. I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use Facebook that much. It's more for close friends and old school friends and family and mum and dad. So Twitter is probably the place to find me. I'm on there, and you can always say hi. I'm very friendly.
Absolutely, and I will make sure that I put all the links down below in the show notes / description, because this is going pretty much everywhere. Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Oh wow! Everywhere.
I'm gonna have a hell of a time uploading this, but it'll be fun. So
Can't
that
wait.
brings the episode to a close. I do want to thank you so much, Jackie, for agreeing to be the very first guest on my very first podcast that I've hosted myself.
Well,
Hopefully,
I'm honoured and I'm flattered. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
more than welcome, and hopefully we had a little chat when we were getting this sorted out. Hopefully we'll be able to do an in-person Tea, Scones and VO one day.
In person? Are you mad? What's that even like anymore? I can't remember the last time I saw a person in person.
Well, we're not going to actually be able to understand a word we're saying because of all the masks, visors, gloves.
Yeah, of course.
Pausing every 30 seconds to sanitize our hands. And we've got to do it from 2 meters away. So
Sure.
We'll work it out. Logistically, it's a nightmare.
It'll be fine.
But it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We'll figure it out.
So that is going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed watching me and Jackie just shoot the shit for 20 minutes, half an hour, however long this episode turns out to be. All the links are going to be down in the description below. Go hit her up, say hi, give her a follow. She puts out hilarious stuff on Instagram and Twitter. But yes, she's amazing, and thank you so much for agreeing to be the very first guest on Tea, Scones and VO.
Thank you. It's been great. Thanks so much, Matt.
No worries. Have a good day, and everyone watching, see you soon. Bye! To be notified of more episodes of Tea, Scones and VO and all the other content I produce, head to the links on screen and be sure to hit that like button.